In this video, we're going to explore how to build a newscast and how to use that newscast in a teleprompter. Just like putting together your stories from earlier, find your username in the Q tree. Now, I've put together my newscasts and assembled them under their various cart numbers, but if you're going to be going on the air live, or maybe you just want to name it something that you'll know where to find it later, if it's a special occasion, you can name it whatever you like. That's just how I organized mine. You can do it however you like. Now, this is very similar to how we put our stories in. We're going to right-click on our name under username in the Q tree and say New Q. And just like entering the stories from before, let's say this is going to be the 9 a.m. newscast. And then we're going to click OK. Now, there's the one we just created under our name. That's where we're going to put our new newscast at 9 a.m. So, in order to put together the actual copy for our newscast, we're going to head down here into the story list, right-click, New Story in this queue, and we're going to name it 9 a.m. Now notice it's the pencil tab, which means we're editing it, and nothing is in the I tab. So, now we need to collect our stories that we want to use in our newscast. Over in the Q tree, select the market. Presumably, you're going to be working under your own plenty, so for these purposes, we're going to be using Kalamazoo. And Andrew Green left us a story earlier today about a local fundraiser, and here's the story. Now, notice I'm in the Q tree over here. The story list is reflecting the Kalamazoo market, and I can view it over here, but I still have my newscast open for editing over here. Now, he put together a wrap for us, so we're going to take the intro and the wrap. We're going to highlight that audio cut as well, and we're going to come up here and click Copy. Now, head back over to the pencil tab with our newscast and click Paste. And there it is. If we were to open this in the teleprompter right now, we would see that one line of text and then one button that will allow us to play that audio cut. We'll get to that in just a moment. And then down here, it's a story from this morning that John left us. We're going to grab that. Again, highlight, copy, go back to your newscast, pick where you'd like to place it, click Paste. Now, this is going to be a very short newscast just for this, but that's what we want right there. So, we are going to click Save. Notice the tab is green, and we can close it. Now, back on the left-hand side, here's our Q tree reflecting what is under the Kalamazoo branch in the Q tree and what we're looking at over here. But you say, well, I want to take a look at my newscast I just put together. Go back under your username to where you placed your newscast, and there it is. Now, to open a newscast, there's a couple ways to do this. We're going to take the long way around the first time. The purple icon there, that is the Newsboss teleprompter. Go ahead and open that up. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do is tell it who you are. The button here with the little person, that's Select User. Go ahead and click on that. And it's going to prompt you to log in. It's the same login as you have for the main Newsboss program, so go ahead and do that. And here's our teleprompter. Now, as you can see, this is not the newscast we just put together. This just happens to be the last one that I had open. This is Battle Creek's from yesterday. So, what you're going to want to do now in order to pick the proper newscast is go to the folder button there, Open Queue. Select Open Queue. again, here's your Q tree menu. Select the one that you just made, and there's the one that I want. So, having highlighted that, click Open. And there it is. There's our newscast right there. And we can read that. And there's the button. If we would like to play back the audio clip, I can say, a fundraiser this week for a local camp. Andrew Green reports, and then simply...
The Pretty Lake Vacation Camp is seeking donations to help support its programs this summer. The Madawan facility's been...
Pause. Or say you're looking through your copy and you want to skip that story entirely and go first with the other story. As we first reported this morning, Superintendent Greg Grace told Portage Schools thanks but no thanks, and simply
It was first announced at the Brighton School Board meeting last evening that Dr. Gray would be sticking around.
He will be staying at Brighton.
And just to show you, there's your audio levels down here.
HMI reports that Dr. Gray cited personal family reasons for turning down the job, primarily having to do with moving his children.
This process made me really reflect on where I want to be, and as long as I have support from the majority of the board moving forward, this is the place where I think we can make a lot of impact.
The Portage Board has since issued a statement saying they're disappointed but understand, and they'll be meeting soon to decide where they take the job search from here. I'm John McNeil reporting.
And you can see the timer there changed colors as it was getting toward the end. Now there is one trick to Newsboss, one tricky point rather. We can't have too many copies of it open. If you're using it right then, the actual Newsboss program, the red icon, then that's okay, but please close it as soon as you're done. We only have so many copies that we can have open at one time between the different buildings. However, that teleprompter, as long as it's installed on a machine, you can have as many copies of that open as you want. So let's say you have Newsboss open at your desk, but now it's time to go in the studio. Well, you don't want to open 2 copies of Newsboss and leave one unattended, so you can simply open the teleprompter by itself without Newsboss. And same process. Select user, tell it who you are. And you say, well, I want the newscast I was just working on at my desk, not that one. So go pick another one. And here's your other newscast. Now, moving around is pretty simple. You can scroll up and down with the scroll bar. You can press up and down on your keyboard, but it goes very, very slowly. You can use your mouse wheel, as I'm doing here, to scroll up and down. Or, if you'd prefer something a little smoother, you can simply hold down the left mouse button, and it'll scroll fairly slowly. You can adjust that speed with this off to the right here. That's your scroll speed. And there you have it. If you would like to go up, you can scroll up or hold the right mouse button, or again your arrow keys. And if you would like to play audio, as we mentioned, you can simply click on it, pause it, but you also have the options of your keyboard. Now, the 10 keypad on your keyboard, off to the right there, 0 is going to be the play and pause button. And if you'd like to skip between cuts, you can use the number 1 on your number pad to skip up and number 3 to skip down. So if I'm on 0423 Peabody 0 right now, if I wanted to skip down to that cut with the president speaking, I would press 3 on the number pad.
Across the state of Illinois.